Now, I ain't one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicles Speak. So I'm starting to think that sometimes people get older and they become senile, honey. Because Bill Cosby's wife, Camille Cosby, whom I've always thought was so beautiful, honey, obviously fell and bumped her head. She's defending Cosby, which she should. That's her husband. But she is saying that he is a victim of lynch mobs and is comparing his fate to the death of Emmett Till.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Camille said that the treatment of her husband in the justice system is like the case of Emmett Till. Now, we all know that Cosby was convicted last week on 3 counts of sexual assault involving Andrea Constant. She was the only accuser that could possibly get him convicted because her statutes of limitation hadn't expired when the district attorney picked the case back up. Now, Ms. Camille says, I am publicly asking for a criminal investigation of the district attorney and his cohorts. This is a homogeneous group of exploitive and corrupt people whose primary purpose is to advance themselves professionally and economically at the expense of Mr. Cosby's life. If they can do this to Mr. Cosby, they can do so to anyone. Now, don't get me wrong. I think there were all kind of inconsistencies in Andrea Constant's case. I don't like the fact that she was accepting gifts from him after he quote-unquote raped her. I also don't like the fact that she was still making calls to him like on Valentine's Day and things of that nature after he so-called raped her. Now, in his 2005 disposition, Cosby was asked this about the night in question. Can you tell me what you recall about the night in which you gave the pills to Andrea? Cosby said, Andrea came to the house. I called her. We talked about Temple University. We talked about her position. And then I went upstairs and I got 3 pills. I brought them down. They are the equivalent of 1.5. The reason why I gave them and offered them to Andrea, which she took after examining them, was because she was talking about stress. Cosby then described a several-minute sexual encounter that followed. So you're telling us that you verbally asked her for permission. I didn't say it verbally. I said the action is my hand on her midriff, which is skin. I'm not lifting any clothing up. This is, I don't remember fully what it is, but it's there. I can feel it. I got her skin, and it's just above the hand, and it's just above where you can go under the pants. The question was then asked, then what happened? Cosby says, I don't hear her say anything. I don't feel her say anything. And so I continue, and I go into the area that is somewhere between permission and rejection. I am not stopped. Cosby was then asked about a phone conversation he had with Constance's mother. The question was asked, what was the thing that you did not want to talk about? He said, I didn't want to talk about what did you give her. The question was then asked why. Cosby then responded, because we're over the telephone and I'm not sending anything, the pill bottles over the mail, and I'm not giving away anything. The question was asked, why didn't you simply tell her that you had given her daughter an over-the-counter drug called Benadryl? Cosby responded, I'm not going to argue with someone's mother who is accusing me of something. And then when I apologized, she says to me, that's all I wanted to know, Bill. And I'm apologizing because I'm thinking this is a dirty old man with a young girl. I apologize. I said to the mother, it was digital penetration. He was then asked, when she was on the stand and cried constant during her disposition, how do you feel? He said, I think Andrea is a liar, and I know she is a liar because I was there. Now I'm going to put the link to the disposition down below. You guys can finish reading it. He talks about giving a woman quaaludes and all of that. I'm going to let you guys read that. Now, my issue with Camille Cosby's statement that she made today was regarding Emmett Till. Emmett was a 14-year-old African-American boy who was lynched in Mississippi in 1955 after a white woman named Carolyn Bryant accused Till of whistling or flirting with her, which was unruly behavior for a black man towards a white woman back in the day. Now, although that woman lied and didn't admit to it until 2008, she was automatically believed because she was a white woman. Till was pulled from his great-uncle's home and was abducted. He was beaten and mutilated before being shot in the head, and his body was sunk into the bottom of the Tallahatchie River. Now, Carol's husband, Roy Bryant, and J.W. Milliam were the men that killed Emmett. They were found not guilty by an all-white male jury. Now, again, Carolyn Bryant lied. She admitted to it in 2008, and she died in 2014. Nothing that could be done about it now, but I definitely wish they could have got her back in 2008. Now, Till was completely innocent. There wasn't a he halfway whistled, he winked, he nodded his head at her. This woman lied about everything. Bill, on the other hand, admitted to giving this woman something. Bill admitted to touching her. Bill admitted to having her in the home. Emmett was just a completely innocent kid that was lied on. I completely understand where Camille was trying to go with it, but let's please leave Emmett Till out of it, honey. He never even lived to be able to tell his story. Now let's talk about Stephen Collins. He was a dad from Seventh Heaven. He admitted to having sex and showing himself to little girls that were between the ages of 11 and 12. He was never prosecuted even after he admitted to doing these things. Cosby was accused. There were holes in Andrea Constance's story. The first district attorney didn't even want to pick up the case. The first trial was a hung jury. One thing about it, Mr. Cosby, you've been on this earth for 8 decades. You know it's never been fair for us. You had a wife at home. You shouldn't have been over there fa-la-la with those ladies anyway, baby. 10 years for each conviction, yeah, that is a bit harsh for me. Only because there are so many other people out here, just like I said, Stephen Collins, that's not going to get locked up for doing it. And he admitted to it. Unfortunately, it's the crazy world we live in. What I need you guys to do in the meantime, in between time, is tell me what you think about Camille Cosby's statements. Leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. I know I'll probably get some hate mail and some dislikes for this, but hey, I have my own opinion. But you guys leave a comment. Let's talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye.